What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to episode of Pugilism, aka MKO Boxing, where we talk all things box. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a follow on TikTok also. So, yeah, let's get into the action from last night where we had Xander Zayes defending his WBA and WBO super welterweight titles against Jarron Boots Ennis at 154 pounds. And going into it, you had the 23-year-old undefeated Xander Zayas as the underdog, and Jarron Boots Ennis, the man that people were really sort of talking about, the big favorite going in. But yeah, it was one of those where I felt it would, it would go rounds. It could go late into the fight. Didn't really have much of a prediction beforehand. But yeah, Jarron Boots Ennis, this is one of those performances where really a standout for him. Probably, name wise, one of the best names on his resume now, definitely, and unified champion. And Jarron Boots Ennis gets the victory via seventh round TKO. And this was one of those performances by Ennis where he stamped his authority on the fight from the very beginning, from the word go, opening bell. Ennis was stood right there in punching range, right in front of Xander Zayas, and it was so fast, so rapid with with his reflexes, and obviously the hand speed is just on another level. So he was able to get in on Xander Zayas several times with the right hook. The right hook was kind of the sort of honey punch, the money punch throughout the as long as this fight lasted, and he just kept clipping him with it, clipping him with it, clipping him with it, and he did take a few silly shots, Jarron Ennis, but he's just one of those fighters where he's kind of willing to take a few shots and then give one or take one to give one. He pretty much always stays in a pocket, and he's so confident in what he's doing that he's not bothered what others are doing. And in this fight, it really paid off because the first round, he got Zayas with a right hook and then a straight left hand, put Xander Zayas down in the very first round, and that you could see that Zayas was hurt. He, to his credit, gets to his feet, carries on the round, tries to sort of box on, and Ennis tries to jump on him. There's well more than just under 2 minutes left in the round, and Boots tries to sort of jump on him and, doesn't get him out of there, but does hurt him quite severely. Second round, more of the same. Boots staying in the pocket. Xander Zayas just trying to sort of get himself back together, but having to stay in the pocket with Boots and try and sort of fight fire with fire. But he doesn't really use his attributes with, trying to sort of get away from Boots. He was sort of staying there and toe to toe having a war with Boots, which not great tactics by Xander Zayes, but I kind of understand because he obviously was hurt, and we go on in the rounds, and then again it's more sort of dominance by Boots, but then he does. In I think round three, he does get hurt and wobbled, does Boots Ennis, and he played it off in the press conference afterwards, saying that he was chilling and whatever. But he did. You can see, he did get hurt. I think in the third round, but it wasn't hurt in the sense that he's gonna go, he's gonna get knocked out. It was hurt in the sense that it kind of got wobbled, momentarily stunned, and he did have to sort of hold on to Xander Zayas in that third round, and even in the fourth as well. I think he did get clipped with a few shots, but again, it was nothing really that he couldn't handle. He rode, handled the shots quite well, held on when he needed to, and then again, round five comes around, more pretty much dominance from Boots, and he puts Zayas down again, and then it's more again dominance from Boots, and he's just basically the speed and the power was just a bit too much for Xander Zayes because he was trying to fight back, but the problem he was having was that Boots was just like on another level speed wise, and he was able to just with his hands down low as well. There was not much of a tell on the punches he was throwing, and You know, he was able to get that shot off, that right hook off so many times to the temple of Xander Zayes, and Xander Zayes just couldn't seem to recover from it, couldn't seem to read the patterns, and you know, it was just pure, you know, power shots from the outside by Jarron Boots Ennis, and you know, it was just in a groove throughout this whole fight, and then the end comes about in round 7, where Boots again, you know, more power shots in you know, in the pocket, you know, but this time Xander Zayes does a clever thing of, you know, dropping to a knee because he's under pressure, and the Boots working the body as well, and Xander Zayes decides to take a knee in the 7th, and then, you know, as he's gonna get up, the referee sees the corner, and they just throw the towel in because they could see the sort of writing was on the wall, and it was only going to get worse. All that would have happened is he would have probably just got knocked out, unconscious, or spark out. So I think, you know, smart decision. And Xander Zayes, to his credit, didn't make any excuses. He said, "This is Boots' night," you know, and he gave him the credit for beating him. So yeah, overall, it was a very good performance. It was a very entertaining performance too, because you know, many times you know, in boxing you've got guys very skillful like Boots, and you know, a lot of them are more defensively minded. But Boots is one of those guys that he's got the skills, he's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got the athleticism, and he's willing to sort of put it all on the line, and he's willing to be in the pocket. He's willing to put himself at major risk, and you know, win fights that way. And he's you know, like last night, he's determined to get rid of you. He likes to get rid of guys. He doesn't like to sort of just play around with his food. He likes to get rid of them, and that's what makes him very entertaining to watch, because you have skilled guys that are more, you know, they call them boring, a bit more cerebral, a bit more defensively minded, and whatever, a bit more sort of perfectionist. But Boots is, you know, he's got the same sort of skill level of a lot of them guys, but he's just attack minded, and he just wants to get rid of you. And you know, he's got the speed and the power, the athleticism, the reflexes to do it. And yeah, fantastic job by him. I mean, guys like Virgil Ortiz, that'll be a great fight for him, but obviously I don't think it'll be next. But yeah, I think looking at that performance, guys will they'll probably fancy their chances with him, because as much as he's you know, he's exceptionally good, he's also, you know, he gets hit and he's willing to take a shot. And you know, we saw him get wobbled by Xander Zayes, and Xander Zayes is not really much of a puncher. So the punchers at 154, Fundora and all those guys, as much as Boots put on a great performance, I think they'll be fancying their chances that if they can catch him, they can get him out of there. So yeah, I hope we do see him. You know, he's now WBA, WBO champ. I hope we do see him unify the rest of the belt. So let me know your thoughts on the fight and on the performance. And until next time, Sam Kill Boxing, over and out.